It's at 10 o'clock Central African time. Good evening and welcome to the news. I'm Sunny Boy Ngo and I'm with Noma Songamboli. We're coming to you live from the Hospital Hill Studios in Babane. First, your headlines. His Majesty King Eswatini III says mining operations must result in sustainable development for all communities across the country. The Rotary Club family has stepped up to provide free medical services to the people of Eswatini. And the Minister for Sports, Culture and Youth Affairs says arts are becoming a source of living that the youth should consider in order to be able to change their lives for the better. Good evening, the news in detail. His Majesty King Eswatini III says mining operations must result in sustainable development for all communities across the country. His Majesty was speaking during a familiarization tour of a coal mine in Mhlume. Now, the King's tour was graced by Amakosigati, their Royal Highnesses, Princes and Princesses, and the Prime Minister. The anthracite coal facility is expected to start operating.
His Majesty King Eswatini III is intensifying calls for the mining sector to contribute to the goals of sustainable development at community level. The King shared the thoughtful sentiments when he toured the mine, which is expected to start operating. The mining operation, which will bring job opportunities for the community in Mhlume, is set to contribute towards the growth of the economy of the country. His Majesty the King was informed that 20 million tons of anthracite coal will be extracted from the mining operation, while 4,000 to 5,000 tons will be produced on a daily basis. The King expressed his delight that the project will contribute immensely to job creation. His Majesty said mining operations must empower communities with sustainable development.
Bonale ukuthi ngalo lesikugubhako la ubonale ukuthi kungakhane emimangweni ngasingalelinye ilanga nase kuphela imayini bese umango sosala ukhala ngembangandlala awu sephenze sekuvuka indlala ufuna imayini nayikhona emimangweni iphinze yakhe nalo mango ukuthi uthuthu kuphinze usale ukuthi noma seyiphelile imayini iqhubeke iphile.
His Majesty said the success of the mining operation is a personal responsibility that should be embraced by all stakeholders.
Naku sisanibona seninganga lokuningaka live belisokhala ngemisebenzi imisebenzi yashoda epha nase sibona lo ngemisebenzi lena usho isiniketha icebo zawumayende maswati lata uphumelela emsebenzini bekunene sithi ke nathi awu njoba lo msebenzi nangu semusha usaqathuda nine leseni la kiwo so semahlombekini nonke sinani neunese lo msebenzi uphumelele naba boshugakeni ababona nje emaqazini baqala kancane kepha ke ngekuthi baneswe sebakhula sekwaba netithelo letitholakala kulo msebenzi sithemba ukuthi ke nani nida ukwenda njalo niubambe lo msebenzi nibambisane ungonakala lo msebenzi ngithi nangibuye eminyakeni ngikhanze sokhule kakhulu.
While His Majesty's stay in the Lubombo region shines a spotlight on development that has been achieved by the region, it also presents an opportunity for the King to give direction on how more development can be achieved. On the news, I'm Sandile Makanya reporting from Mhlume.
The Rotary Club family has stepped up to provide free medical services to the people of Eswatini. The Honourable Minister for Health, Mduduzi Matsebula, commends the significant contribution the Rotary Club family has made in providing health services to Eswatini. Matsebula says the medical stations will be set up at Jericho Clinic, Zombotse, and as well as at Kinswini Primary.
The Rotary Community Outreach will provide Eswatini with free medical services from doctors from other countries. Speaking during the launch of the Rotary Family Health Day, the Minister for Health, Honourable Mduduzi Matsebula, stated that the medical assistance will include testing and dental services.
The outreach will provide medical and dental services to the children in the mentioned schools, as well as the neighboring communities. The services will be delivered. The services to be delivered will include medical consultation, screening, testing for various diseases such as NCDs, HIV/AIDS, TB, STIs, cervical cancer, voluntary male circumcision, and dental care, amongst others. This outreach is possible because of the close collaboration between the Rotary clubs in Eswatini and government.
Dr. Musamtetwa, representing the Rotary family, mentioned that most Eswatini will have the chance to be attended by specialists, which they can hardly afford, especially those in rural areas.
Sikhona lokuyofika lena esiveni angikho lokumqoka kakhulu nangingabekisa nje ukuthi bantu abakhoni ukuthola lithuba lokuthi babone bodokotela labathinte labasemadolobheni ikakhulu ema specialists.
The outreach is expected to commence on the 18th to the 21st of March 2024. For Eswatini TV News, Ndomlangeni, Sifiso Nxumalo, Mbabane.
The Honourable Minister of Sports, Culture and Youth Affairs, Bongani Nzima, says arts are becoming a source of living that the youth should consider in order to be able to change their lives for the better. The minister said this during an Eswatini National Arts and Culture Policy launch under the theme Monetizing the Arts.
The Ministry of Sports, Culture and Youth Affairs, in hand with the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Culture Organization, has launched the Eswatini National Arts and Culture Policy for the year 2023 to 2028 and also a 2-day summit. The Minister of Sports, Culture and Youth Affairs, Bongani Nzima, says the summit will close the gap that has existed between artists and the ministry.
There is no doubt that our artists are immensely talented and creative. However, there is a need for your work to translate into profit, first to benefit you and then others around you, thereby assisting the country alleviate unemployment and poverty. I have been pleased to note that the topics for the discussion during this summit will speak exactly to monetizing issues, including contracts, music distribution, royalties, online facilities, hosting festivals, accessing funding. It is through acquiring such knowledge that we can upscale our work to ensure that our arts is managed as business.
Representing the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Culture Organization, Lwandle Simelane advises the youth to consider the arts industry and keep on producing in order to make a living.
Over the years, UNESCO, through extensive consultation with member states, has come up with frameworks and roadmaps to support and inculcate culture and arts into development. Namely, we have the Seoul Arts Agenda, the Lisbon Roadmap, and the most recent UNESCO framework for arts education and culture to ensure that emerging issues are always incorporated.
Don Laga, who will be the keynote address, and the film producer and actor Hamilton Dlamini are set to show up during the summit. Reporting in Cindy Swazwane with Fabrice Msanera, Manzini.
The Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, Honorable Prince Lonkokele, says countries under the Southern African Power Pool needed to find sustainable projects that will ensure reliable and affordable energy for their citizens. The minister, who was represented by the Undersecretary Technical Kapsile Mabuza, was speaking at Happy Valley Hotel during the opening ceremony of the 62nd Southern African Power Pool General Meeting.
I acknowledge that the development of renewable energy projects being embarked on by many of the SADC countries is bringing a lot of private power developers into the sector, and it is only proper to allow them space to operate regionally. I am informed that you have revised your membership categories to allow these players to participate in electricity trading in SAP. I therefore urge you to continue to cooperate with these new players such that together you pursue the goal of providing reliable, sustainable and affordable power for all our citizens in the region.
The Secretary of the Southern African Power Pool, Louis, says more focus will be put into helping countries on sustainable energy.
Our deliberations, they fall around critical projects that have to be implemented in terms of interconnections. Mostly, we touched on the issue of interconnecting Angola that has got a 2 gigawatt surplus of power capacity, but they are not yet able to trade in the market because they are not interconnected.
The Managing Director of Eswatini Electricity Company, Ernest Mkonda, details Eswatini's sustainable energy projects.
We have explored the hydro potential in Maguga, and we are currently in the process of developing EPC documents to invite those interested in engineering and procurement of, or rather engineering, procurement and the construction of a power supply in the country. We're also working on a project with an independent power producer that will generate 13.5 megawatts at Lower Makutuza, which is downstream of Makutuza Power Station on the Usutu Basin.
The meeting, which started on Monday, focuses on various issues like preparation, operations and market, amongst other key areas. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Ezulwini.
The Taiwan Africa Vegetable Initiative, TAVI, nears completion now. During the official opening of the final workshop of the initiative, Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Sydney Simelane, expressed concern regarding the agricultural sector's contribution to the worsening climate change crisis. Now, Simelane urged the agriculture sector to address this issue by returning to traditional farming methods.
The Taiwan Africa Vegetable Initiative, TAVI, implemented in 4 countries including Eswatini, is nearing its conclusion. The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Sydney Simelane, highlighted concerns about the effect of herbicide use on nature.
We have even irrationally promoted the use of herbicides while in ignoring other weed control, suppression and soil fertility improving agricultural practices such as intercropping, rotational or even cover cropping, particularly with climate-adapted legumes, despite being aware of their benefits on soil fertility improvement, soil health and other soil microorganisms.
His Excellency Jeremy Liang, the Taiwan ambassador to Eswatini, emphasizes that the TAVI project aims to promote a healthy lifestyle.
TAVI is a joint venture funded by Taiwan government and work closely with the Ministry of Agriculture, Eswatini, and other international partners. Through the World Vegetable Center, we want, through the TAVI, we want to bring back awareness among the Eswatis, the traditional vegetable in Eswatini.
Marco Whooper, Director General of the World Vegetable Center, says the project's success is implementing initiatives even within schools, setting a benchmark for other nations to follow.
African traditional vegetables are a key resource, I think, for nutrition, health and livelihoods, and they're really in need of help.
The TAVI project provided Eswatini with a gene bank acclaimed as the best in the SADC region. Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Manzini.
The Ministry of Housing and Urban Development is currently gathering input from key stakeholders regarding the estate bill. Dr. Simon Zwane, who is the Principal Secretary of the Ministry of Housing, has asserted that this bill will play a pivotal role in combating issues like money laundering within the real estate sector. Dr. Zwane made these remarks during the ongoing real estate consultations.
The real estate sector continues to grow in Eswatini and worldwide. In an effort to regulate this sector, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development has begun consulting, starting with real estate agents. The Principal Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Simon Zwane, emphasizes the importance of stakeholder ideas.
And our aim is to ensure that Emaswati are empowered through the ownership of immovable property, but at the same time making sure that they are protected from suspicious transactions and agents. To ensure that the practice runs smoothly, the Ministry is embarking on a journey to develop a legislation to be known as the Real Estate Agents Bill, a law that will regulate the practice of real estate agents in the country. This proposed legislation will have protective measures to protect the interests of property buyers and regulate the real estate industry in the country and make sure that estate agents work in the best interest of their clients, both the ones that are buying and the ones that are selling. In addition, this will ensure fair treatment to both buyers and sellers of property.
The Ministry is expected to engage with all relevant stakeholders. Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Manzini.
The Eswatini Energy Regulatory Authority says negotiations with independent power producers has been concluded. The Chief Executive Officer, Kumbuzo Tabetse, says what is left now is the finalizing the terms and conditions of the award. The producers will contribute to supplying the national grid, ensuring reliable and sustainable energy.
The country has committed to produce 50% of its power to be in a clean energy or renewables. We have advanced and we are at the final stages of awarding to the preferred bidders. We committed the month of February to finalize negotiations. We are happy to report that I think we are at a stage where we should in the next few weeks or 2 weeks be awarding those companies, because we have had very successful deliberations or negotiations with some of these bidders. Unfortunately, at this juncture, we cannot name those companies, but we believe that in the next few weeks, in the next 2 weeks or so, we will actually be awarding. Our principals have considered the proposed tariffs, and we need to finalize that and then issue the awards. So we are really, really happy with the progress that we have made so far in terms of the solar PV procurement for the 75 megawatts. We are also mindful of the directive from government to speed up that process, and that's exactly what we have done in the last few months.
Right, with that, we shift gears into the world of business. We take a look at financial indicators to get a sense of how markets fared today in our financial report.
Standard Bank. It can be.
Welcome to Still tuned into Eswatini TV. This is the news at 10. We continue with the news. The British High Commissioner, Simon Boyden, says that using solar panels is a major step forward in responding to climate change as well as installing renewable energy. Boyden was addressing this during the launch of the solar panels at Eswatini neighborhood care point.
The All Out Africa Foundation, funded by the United Kingdom, has installed solar panels at 9 neighborhood care points and 2 research centers. The British High Commissioner Simon Boyden says that using renewable energy, it is a way of responding to climate change.
It enables older children, youths and adolescents to get access to the internet and to some of the training that we've also worked in the past with All Out Africa to provide, to give young people the skills and training they need to get jobs or indeed to set up their own businesses.
The director of All Out Africa Foundation, Kim Rock, says that solar panels will also help improve learning curriculum in preschools at the care point.
We're talking in the region of 200,000 orphaned and vulnerable children that the country needs to provide early developmental education to. And we're extremely proud of the kids and of the neighborhood care point and the good work of the team that make it happen. Just hearing the kids singing and looking at their exercise books, you can see that they're really getting that foundation.
Representing teachers at Eswatini neighborhood care point, Kuku extended their gratitude and added that this will help lower crime rate.
Solar panels alusito kakhulu lakithi. Sibonile ukuthi atosongela nakugesi ngoba sibabetele imali yekuthenga boma units kani yona sitfola elangeni. So ke siyabonga kakhulu nje tintfo letidule kakhulu siyadimangala nathi ukuthi bese ngathola tintfo letihleka so siyadibongela kakhulu ukuthi inkosi ayibabusise laba labasinikele.
Today, the All Out Africa Foundation was launching the solar panels at Eswatini, Elangeni, and Kanini. Reporting Cindy Sazwane with Fabrice Msonera, Eswatini.
Now, not seeing eye to eye by the children of former deceased Deputy Prime Minister Benjamin Mshamdane Sbanze has led to his estate being one of the estates that has been brought before the Judicial Commission of Inquiry investigating alleged malpractice in the office of the Master of the High Court. Now, one of the bone of contention is an alleged missing will which has led to his estate distribution prepared using a 2005 will, which some of the beneficiaries are disputing it. It was revealed, therefore, that the former DPM died a sad man after reports that one of his children was allegedly not his.
The former Deputy Prime Minister Benjamin Mshamdane Sbanze died in the year 2021. He had a single wife and 4 children. His 3 daughters are executors of his estate. The disputed will is the one which was allegedly signed by the former DPM's wife 2 days before she died in the year 2005. The aggrieved part says there is another will which was allegedly prepared in the year 2013 and this will is missing.
Ekusayinweni kwayo isayinwa mhla ka-17 azimuka nomoya. Mina I'm very much concerned about lo mmeli wababa ukuthi Nkosi yami
Wena master naye ngathi unabo lo mkhonyovu unabo sisi ngoba na usuyefika lapha bakubuta ukuthi ungubani wena.
Usisiwe Phumzile, who are executors in the estate of the former DPM, say when their father died, he was a sad man. They say there were so many things happening, including that one of his child allegedly informed him that he was not his biological child. On the issue of the second will, the executors say there was never a second will. They add that they all find out about the 2005 will at the office of the Master of the High Court.
So when we went to the master's office,
the same as Noak's head.
The same will that's in front of you. I do not know any other will.
The estate of the deceased include 5 plots, 4 motor vehicles, 2 trucks, 2 firearms, as well as 6 bank accounts with undisclosed amounts. At the time of compiling the report, the Judicial Commission of Inquiry was still in session. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Mbabane.
Welcome back. In the world of sports, the Eswatini Olympic Commonwealth Games Association Chief Executive Officer Maxwell Chele says Team Eswatini, that is representing the country at the ongoing All-Africa Games in Accra in Ghana, is doing well so far. Now, the country is left with 2 competitions from taekwondo and athletics where there is hope that the medal will be recorded. Now, Chele was speaking to Eswatini TV Sports in a telephonic interview while in Accra in Ghana.
Travel to Ghana has gone very well. You will recall that we had mentioned that Team Eswatini will travel in a staggered fashion. So we are actually quite glad and relieved by the fact that there have been no disturbances on that aspect. So the teams that have that arrived first, they have actually also departed back home. And we've got other teams that are now coming through. As I speak, Taekwondo, which is the biggest sporting code in terms of athletes that we are sending to the games, is actually on its way as we speak. They are going to be arriving in Accra tomorrow morning. By mid-morning, they will be here. They will then be followed lastly by athletics, which is the last sporting code to come this side. So all in all, we are quite happy with the competition in terms of our athletes here, Fabrice. The standard is very high, but we are encouraged by the performances of our athletes. We had our swimmers, Mangadlamene, who participated and competed in 3 different races, and in all 3 of them, he broke his personal best times. Taekwondo, which is a very promising sport in the country. So we're expecting a very good performance from them, together with athletics, where we have our top athlete, Sbusiso Matsenjwa Swazi Bolt. He'll be the last one to arrive here in Accra, as his competition is on the 21st.
British High Commissioner, His Excellency Simon Boyden, says the Kingdom of Eswatini has so much talent when it comes to sports. His Excellency Boyden says this is well judged when the country takes part of world stage games such as Olympics and Commonwealth Games. His Excellency Simon Boyden was speaking in an interview with Eswatini TV Sports.
The British High Commissioner, His Excellency Simon Boyden, says the Kingdom of Eswatini, especially athletes and players in different sporting codes, have so much quality and talent, as this is well judged whenever they get a chance to represent the country in world biggest competitions such as Olympic Games and Commonwealth Games.
Well, absolutely. I mean, there were, I think, almost a dozen Eswatini who went to Birmingham 2 years ago for the Commonwealth Games and competed at the highest level. I'm looking forward to seeing which Eswatini qualify for the Olympics in Paris this year. So listen, that's obviously the level which generates the global attention. But I think what's really important is that everyone, regardless of the level of their ability or their access to facilities, is able to enjoy.
His Excellency Boyden also shared his opinion on who he thinks will lift the 2023-2024 English Premiership amongst the 3 clubs, being Manchester City, Liverpool and Arsenal, saying that anyone has a chance to lift it. He concluded encouraging different associations in the country to work harder in trying to improve local sporting activities in the kingdom. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msona, Zuluini.
Well, with the sports news, we hit the home stretch of the news at 10 here at Eswatini TV. But before we go, a quick reminder of news-making headlines tonight. His Majesty King Mswati III says mining operations must result in a sustainable development for all communities across the country. The Rotary Club family has stepped up to provide free medical services to the people of Eswatini. And the Minister of Sports, Culture and Youth Affairs says arts are becoming a source of living that the youth should consider in order to be able to change their lives for the better. Beautiful Kingdom of Eswatini, that's all we had for you from the news desk. We shall now cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report from us and the team at Eswatini TV. For now, it's good night and God bless.